Hello, namaste. So I just want to make a comment or an observation this morning. If we are already living among clones, because, as I kind of look out towards the human race, I really have this sense that the majority of people are no longer human. And I'm not sure exactly how many people arrived at this state, or if they were simply never human, because, speaking with some people and observing some people, it really makes you wonder if we're even on the same level playing field, so to speak. And I used to always think, like what we're living in is essentially a video game. We have for all we know, this could be a complete simulation. We could actually be in a video game. And through our senses, this world seems very real. But the more you kind of detach yourself from the world, the more everything just kind of seems virtual. And, it would be interesting to see where, the 5G, where the Project Bluebeam, all of their ideas that they have to make this a complete virtual world, if it arrives at this point that the majority of the human race doesn't die anyways. But, it would be interesting to see how this develops in a certain sense, just to see how virtual everything really is, because and it makes you wonder if some of these, if the humans that are among us are actually human, or if they are actually just clones or holographic images. The thing of it is essentially we're living in a video game. And I used to always say, I grew up just having this kind of intuitive sense, like, well, everything out there is just, it doesn't seem real. And it almost just seems like we're in a video game. And through our senses, we use our five senses to interpret the world and to understand our world. How do we know that, everything just isn't a virtual reality, and that the majority of us that are, maybe some of us are more awake, maybe for some reason, some of us have developed our own programming, or, if we're in this video game, this virtual simulation, essentially. And maybe others are just simply programs, and the more that you speak with people and the more that you see how everything is working, it really just does seem like these are just simply programs. And how do we know if there's any reality to anything? The more you detach from the world, the more virtual almost everything seems, the more unreal everything seems. And, we know right now everything is completely upside down. I used to ask, my mom when I was small, I would ask her, have I been adopted? Because I just didn't feel like this was my place. I felt almost like, if I was like traveling the galactic highway, something happened and I got off on the wrong exit and I ended up on planet Earth, and it was the wrong planet because it doesn't seem to make, like, nothing here makes sense. And the more moronic everything is, the more like people are just going along with it. And it just makes you wonder then, after all of these observations, like, are they really human? Are these people just simply programs in a video game? Are they simply like holographic images? What, are they glitches in the matrix? And, those few people that are awake, to us that kind of can see what's going on, it's like we've kind of stepped out of the matrix, because you see that everything in here is just really essentially a video game, and that's all it is. And you can play it to your advantage at that point. So that was just an observation I wanted to make this morning was, looking around, it almost seems like some people are not even human among us. They are literally just other players in the game, so to speak, but not even players that they have their own independent kind of thought, but essentially they're just programs in the matrix. So let me know like any comments that you have about this. I know that there's like a lot of videos on like that we're living in a simulation, et cetera, et cetera. And it really seems like we are. I mean, this really is a video game that we're living in. Life is a game and you just play it. And, if you know how to play it, you can use it to your advantage, obviously. If you know that the majority of players among us are just kind of clones, like, are they running off their own programs? Or they're just running off somebody else's programs. The majority are just running off of programs that were already established by somebody else, programs that were made by somebody else. And I'm not sure how the few of us that seem to be awake, how we arrived at this point. Either there's some glitch maybe in our programming that doesn't allow us to absorb whatever that programming is, or maybe we are the real human beings and everything else is just a hologram, or maybe we're completely, maybe we have it all backwards, and essentially what we deem as upside down, maybe that is actually how it's supposed to be. That would be another theory to explore. It's kind of hard to believe because as far as I see the planet, everything is backwards, everything is upside down, and nothing makes any sense. But maybe those of us that believe to be awake we're the non-humans, for all I know. I don't know, but I'm pretty convinced, at least from what I've seen so far in my life, is that we in some way, shape, or form, we've either we're on the wrong planet, or things really are upside down on this planet. So we are definitely living in kind of a virtual reality already, and everything out there is just illusion. It's essentially just Maya, including what I believe is what we consider most of the rest of the human race, those that are still sleeping, those that really just seem to be like clones or just, programs, holographic images running on programs. So let me know any thoughts or comments you have on this, and namaste.